everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is April if you're new here, and today we're going over April new releases. April is apparently the month to put a book out. Everyone is putting a book out in April. We have a long list of books to go over today, so let's just get right into it. On April 1st, we have This Monster of Mine. This is by a debut author called Shalini Abisakara. Is that how you say your name? Please let me know if anybody knows. I hate saying names wrong. This is an ancient Rome-inspired romantasy where a girl has had her life threatened 4 years before. She returns to the scene of the crime to try and figure out her own attempted unaliving, and she teams up with someone who is suspected of the crime. So there's a little bit of a weird dynamic here, but it sounds really interesting. And pick it up, everyone. Let me know how it is. I plan to pick it up too, but I don't know quite when. Also on April 1st is A Thorn in Every Heart by Kate King. I just finished this book and it was super fun. And in this book, all of the chapter headings are a different piece of art, and they are so cool. I'll post some of them here, so if you pre-order this book or pick up this book, just know some of them are pretty racy and it's really fun. This is a Beauty and the Beast inspired tale where a girl makes a deal with the beast and then leaves and takes off. And 60 years later, her granddaughter is taken captive after a one-night stand and has to take Belle's place. This is kind of like a fake marriage, but also she's kind of has feelings for the guy who took her captive. Listen, it's real messy, it's real fun. There is quite a fun voice in this, very bantery and just full of attitude, and I really loved it. And on April 8th, a whole slew of books are coming out on this day, starting with The Geographer's Map to Romance by India Holton. This book is a failed marriage of convenience inconveniently reconnect for an emergency mission. It's a historical fantasy rom-com. A lot of India Holton's books are a little bit more cozy and a little bit more laid back, but also cute and funny. So I highly recommend you reading her book. Also, we have A Proposal to Die For. This is by Molly Harper, and this is a contemporary romance. However, if anybody can get me to like a contemporary romance, it would be Molly Harper. This is a fast-paced, delightful mystery about a marriage proposal planner whose biggest job is threatened by a dead body. What? What is going on? Does someone like die on the proposal? What's going on? I don't know about this one. It looks cute, and I just gotta read another book from Molly Harper. Also, we have the final conclusion book to this series, which is Last Chance to Save the World. This is by Beth Revis. I have read all of these books so far, and I cannot wait to read the last one. All of these books are space opera novellas, so they're very short, very fun, very fast-paced, witty. There's a little bit of slight romance in it, so you're not getting a ton of romance, but it is still adult. But it's high adventure, high snark. I just love it so much. I've given literally the first two books both 5 stars, and I'm pretty sure the third one's gonna be 5 stars as well. So I can't wait to read this one for sure. Also on the 8th, The Wind Reaver by Julie Johnson. I haven't read from this author before. This book sounds like an epic fantasy romance because you have a halfling that you're following. She's supposed to be unalived on site, but as her execution is happening, it's interrupted by an unexpected savior who is a mercenary commander, and then they have to travel to the northern lands to fight something. There's an ancient prophecy, I don't know, but it sounds really fun. So we have The Twisted Crown by Danielle L. Jensen. This is the 5th book in this series. It follows Princess Anna. She's in an arranged marriage, but she falls for the wrong brother. And all of these have been fantastic. They're kind of like interconnected duologies. So the first 2 follows one couple, the second 2 follows another couple, and this is the start of the 3rd couple. I need to catch up on it. I did not read book 4 yet, so I need to read book 4 and 5. I absolutely love Danielle L. Jensen's Stevens writing. This is just your epic fantasy romance without magic, which I kind of love, is kind of refreshing sometimes. Also, we have Enchantra. This is by Kaylee Smith. This is the follow-up to Phantasma that came out last year. This one follows the sister. So this is the sister's story of the whole Phantasma thing. I don't know what she's gonna get into, but I'm sure it's a lot of shenanigans. Also, Firebird from Juliet Cross comes out. This one is getting a lot of mixed reviews because I think a lot of people don't know that this is actually a very dark romance. This is a dark romance. I have heard there is a lot of SA in this book. I did have this pre-ordered, but I'm a little hesitant on it, so I did cancel my pre-order. I am still gonna read this, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it because of that factor. I'm a little bit of a weenie when it comes to dark romance, but I still want to read it because this is an ancient Rome inspired master slave dynamic, which I don't know is gonna work for me. Still check it out though. Like, I still think, like, if you like dark romance, you're probably not gonna think this is dark enough, but try it out. And then we have House of Blight. This is a book about a girl who has magical healing abilities. However, every time she uses her abilities, it comes at a cost of her own life. So she like slowly loses bits of her own life every time she uses it. There's also this royal family where there's a blight on their house and they're trying to find a cure. She wants to help, but he doesn't want her to lose a part of her life. So they have to work together to figure this all out. It just sounds something a little bit different and cool. Magic, maybe a little bit of coziness because the hero sounds like a cinnamon roll. And then we have the latest book from S.A. Barnes, Cold Eternity. This is not a romance, but it is a sci-fi horror. These are more like psychological horror sometimes. There are definitely horror elements to it, but it's a lot of bit of people thinking they're going crazy. This one deals with a girl who is running from some political turmoil and she wants to lay low at a long forgotten cryogenic barge that's in space holding a lot of like rich people who are cryogenically frozen. However, the ship is malfunctioning and there's some weird AI that's getting creepier and creepier, and I love S.A. Barnes. I love a good sci-fi horror and I definitely need to read this one. So the next book is really cool. It comes out on the 14th and this is Beg the Night by Emily Blackwood. Okay, this book is about a girl who doesn't have magic, but she's taken by the ministry because they think she has magic, and she's thrown in a dungeon, and she quickly finds out that she is the only female in this dungeon full of other people with magical abilities. The only way for your abilities to come out is through a mating ceremony, but you have to be willing. So the good thing is she's not willing to be mated. However, then she meets a guy named Sinner. We're all gonna fall for a guy named Sinner, right? I wonder what's gonna happen. This one sounds a little dark and twisty, and definitely I want to read it. Also on the 14th is the next book by Emma Hamm. This is called Call of the Fathoms. I don't know anything about this book. I don't want to read the synopsis because I haven't read books 2 or 3 yet, and I do really want to catch up. This book is about kind of like mermaids who are not called mermaids. They're called something else, but mermen, and an underwater city full of people. So there's humans that live in an underwater city in an area where mermen are living, and of course the city is polluting their entire land, so there's a bit of a war going on between these two. I love these covers. These are possibly one of my favorite covers of all time. Like, I just think the art is incredibly beautiful and I want to read all of them just for that alone. I am that person. And then on April 15th we have Trial of Bronze and Blood. This is an adult fantasy romance with like high stakes gladiator battles. It also says there's a second chance romance in this, and it's steamy. So, you know, whatever. There's trials, gladiators, and it's adult fantasy romance. Sign me up. Also on the 15th is a book called The Haven, The Hallow, and The Highborn. This is from Jessa Gray. This is a book about witches and witch magic. There is a girl who has taken the seat on the council after her father's death. There's some kind of magical something going on, and the prince comes to also sit on the magical council. However, the prince had a grudge against her father, so he kind of starts taking it out on her, and then there's some back and forth on this. This sounds honestly more of like an epic witch romance, but also a lot of different witchy politics going on, so it sounds really cool. And then the next is a YA book. I know you're like, April, you don't read YA, but I think I have to read this one. This one sounds right up my alley. I need to read it. It's called The Summer I Ate the Rich. I don't think this is not a romance, but it's gonna be like a YA horror probably. The tagline just says, just add garlic, lemon, and a dash of the 1%. And then what this is about a Haitian girl that has hidden zombie abilities. She's exacting revenge on a rich family who's caused her family pain. So it's like a revenge story. I have to read that. I have to read this. I have to. On April 23rd is actually the next book in a new series from Tessa Hale called Crescent Kingdom. This is about wolves and shifters, which I think my sister would absolutely love. Maybe she needs to read it before I am and let me know how it is, because also, why choose? I'm pretty sure it's White Shoes. There's a lot of different shifters in this, but as a girl who is hiding from her powers and hiding her powers from the world, she's been on the run for a really long time, but now these wolves are after her, and oh my god, I wonder what's gonna happen when they catch her. I do need to read books from Tessa Hale. Everyone says they are so fun, and I'm all about fun books, so one day I will get to these. Speaking of wolves, on April 25th, Into Their Den comes out. This is by Ivy Asher and Ann Denton. I have the first book. I really want to read the second one and the first one. Actually, I probably will be starting that audiobook very soon because I have it from the library. So this is the second book. It's like a Red Riding Hood type of why choose paranormal book. That's all I know about it. It's supposed to be spicy and a good time. And on April 29th, we have Broken Souls and Bonds by L.J. Andrews. This is an entirely new series from L.J. Andrews. I'm so jealous because Carrie got a arc of it at Romanticy-Con. This one follows a girl who's trying to keep powers hidden because the king would really want them, and what do you know, one day she's in her village and she has to save her brother, best friend from death, and she has to reveal herself, but of course she does that right in front of the king's lone guard, and he takes her back to the kingdom. So this is gonna be the romance between her and the guard. LJ just knows how to write a good fantasy romance. You gotta read all her books. Also on the 29th is Enigma from Brunix. I've honestly been waiting a really long time for another book from this author, so I'm really excited for this to come out. Her books are dark academia, gothic, a little bit of mystery, and a little bit of suspense, and a little bit of spice in there. Sometimes a lot of bit of spice, but a little bit of spice in there. So I'm excited to read their next book. And then the last book on April 29th is When the Tides Held the Moon by Vanessa Kelly. I feel like this book has been coming out forever, and I'm glad it's finally here. This book says it's The Shape of Water meets The Greatest Showman. You have an immigrant who captures a merman for a Coney Island sideshow, and then they fall in love together. It looks really good. Like, honestly, this cover I have been dying over for so long. It's just like beautiful, and I believe Vanessa drew it herself. So I don't know. I hope this is a little bit cozier and a little bit sweeter of a romance, but it's also a captive, so we'll see. And then the last book on April 30th is called Obsessively Yours by Jamie Applegate Hunter. This is the second book, however, these are interconnected standalones and they are short novellas, I believe. This book is about Roman, who finds his fated mate at a very young age in Vivian, who is a human. However, fate has deemed otherwise, and they have fated him to her identical sister, and she's the bad one. This sounds super twisty, and honestly, I really want to read all of these from Jamie Applegate Hunter. They are fantasy romances that don't have a ton of world building in them, so it mainly focuses on the romance, which I kind of love sometimes because I don't always want to deal with a ton of world building. Anyways, those are all the new releases in April. There are a ton of them. I'm sure I missed some. Let me know if you have a book that's coming out in April that you cannot wait to read. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!